Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thrift here. It's been a while. I hope you all are doing well. I took a little bit of time off to celebrate my birthday that I had last week, but we're back in it. We're getting really close to Ultra Evolution. And just today, early in the morning, some news dropped about what we are going to see in Ultra Evolution, which is a balance adjustment for classes and weapons. So I thought we would take a look at that today. As a preface, I don't play every single class and weapon, so there are going to be a few that I will just breeze over, and I do apologize about that. If these are some of the weapons that you play, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below with your own thoughts. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this post. This is a new news article on the PSO2 website. I will have a link down below if you want to view it for yourself. And this article starts out with an absolute banger by mentioning that unlocking the ability to redistribute skill points is going to be a free thing. It's not going to require the use of AC, SG, or an item like the Reset All Skills Pass that we have been previously receiving. This is a huge improvement. You are not going to have to worry about making any mistakes. You can practice, you can try, and you can keep updating your skill trees. Let's go ahead and get into the class adjustments. We'll start with the Hunter adjustment. Skills like Hunter Physique and Extra Shield are going to be increased for subclass use. This is basically going to make the Hunter class the de facto defense subclass if you wish to go that route. And then Partisan Parry, Alternate Assault will get increased potency. Depending on how much potency increases here, this might be a new rotation where as a partisan player, you would weapon action into an alternate assault. Wired Lance is getting a bunch of changes, and something I would like to note about these updates as I went through them originally, a lot of the updates you're going to see today are actually involving new sidestep and weapon action timing to make it a bit easier for players to sidestep and weapon action. You're not going to be locked in animations as much, and that is going to be really exciting for some classes, and we will discuss that further as we get to those specific classes. I don't play Wired Lance that much, so I am going to kind of breeze through this, but let's read and see what it does. Relaxed cancel timing for sidestep and weapon action for the first and second steps of the normal attacks. There's a forward guard point to the third step of the Wired Lance normal attack. There's increased motion speed for the third step of the normal attack, increased potency for the fourth step of the normal attack, relaxed cancel timing for sidestep and weapon action for the sidestep strike, and relaxed cancel timing for the sidestep and weapon action of the sidestep counter. There is also increased potency of the Wired Lance weapon action when holding down a left or right directional movement button for a variant. The weapon action AoE is really nice, so seeing the increased potency of that will be interesting. As for the actual weapon itself, Cutting Layer is getting increased potency, that relaxed sidestep and weapon action cancel timing, and also with this adjustment, it will no longer be possible to cancel the weapon action immediately after the last strike hits. This is a pretty big blow to Wired Lance players and other Hunter players that used Wired Lance for the multi-weapon. I know that Cutting Layer with the weapon action cancel was a very strong damaging combo during down phases, and that is now removed. So it will be interesting. I believe for most Hunter players, you'll probably be going back to Sword with Caliber Streak, but we'll have to go ahead and see when this update is live. Vein Mixture has increased potency, that relaxed cancel timing, and extended the attack range for the final attack. And Turbulent Lane and Hellish Fall will get increased potency. So increased potency across the board for the Wired Lance PAs. For Partisan, Thrusting Javelin is getting increased potency, decreasing the continuous PP cost while holding down the button. This is actually massive because Thrusting Javelin increases in DPS the longer you hold it, but if you don't have enough PP to keep that skill going, then you're going to run into that issue where you're not getting the most benefit. I believe you had to hold the skill down for about 8 or so seconds to out DPS other skills that had a perfect Avenger Arts cast on it. So this hopefully will make this skill more effective in maybe 4 or 5 second bursts, and you might actually be using this in your rotation as a partisan player. And it also increases the turning speed while holding down the button. This is pretty nice too, especially since you're sitting stationary. you might be able to track and follow an enemy a bit easier and hold on to that skill a bit longer to get more benefit. For the fighter class, the following adjustments have been made. Swift Rush and Thousand Blows have increased potency. Not a lot of changes for Knuckles, but more damage. You can't complain about that. And for the Ranger balance adjustments, Bad Condition Ward, Bad Condition Reduction are getting the same treatment as the Hunter skills, where the accumulation and duration of these statuses are going to be increased when being used by a subclass. Blight Rounds has an increased motion speed and the same relaxed sidestep and weapon action cancel timing. They updated this to allow the same enemy to be hit by a Blight Round from each player. And that is really, really cool. That means that, you're going to be able to target multiple spots. For example, Daedal, a lot of people will target the chest because they believe that's the primary spot to target, because you can break the chest and then it exposes a weak spot. But you can only trigger physical downs if you target the feet. So there has always been a big argument about what do you focus as a ranger. Well, now you're going to be able to Blight Round both of those. This is also going to stop the PvP of Ranger Wars, where multiple rangers will be targeting what they believe is the best location. That's going to change. You're now going to be able to blight what you want to target, and that's not going to affect anybody else. This is an incredible improvement. I bet you will see a lot more rangers nowadays, because having 2 rangers in a group of 8 or 32 is not that bad of an idea if you can target multiple spots and be improving the damage at those locations. Along with that above update, a bug will be corrected where the effect of Blight Rounds remained even after the effect duration ended when Blight Rounds hit certain objects. This is basically relating to crates around the world as well as minerals, where rangers would Blight Round them so you could target and locate them easier. It was a pretty fun thing to notice, especially as a new player. You could run around and essentially on certain blocks you could find all the minerals. I'll link a PSO2 map down below, interactive map, that will show you all of that. But yeah, we're not going to have that anymore. Blight Rounds reinforced, so they updated the count for the number of hits required to activate the skill, and it's going to be determined by the total number of hits for all Blight Rounds weak points on that enemy, since they are making it so everybody can be shooting Blight Rounds out. So that's just going to make you hit reinforce way quicker if there's 2, 3, or 4 Blight Rounds. Same for launcher Blight Rounds and reinforce. They increase the motion speed, the relaxed cancel timing for the Blight Round, and then they increase the potency of steps 1 through 3 of the normal attacks for launcher. For specifically the assault rifle, they increase the motion speed for all the normal attacks, relax the cancel timing, weapon action, and sidestep cancel timing as well for those normal actions. Raising Shot is getting increased potency and adjusting the allocation. So I will have to see where that potency comes from with frame data, but yeah, we'll see how the potency affects that. Relax the sidestep and the weapon action cancel timing as well. Homing darts increase the potency and allocation, and then once again relaxing that cancel timing. Blaze Shot is getting increased potency, so is Revolt Aim. Hopefully Revolt Aim is actually something more important. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Revolt Aim is used in Ranger's kit now, especially with that cancel timing. You pretty much had to wait until the enemy was down to use this skill, so hopefully you can actually put it into your kit or combo during a fight, because you can get out of the attack if you need to. We'll have to see. For launchers, increased potency across the board of all their skills. And you're going to see this a lot with a lot of these weapons that just aren't used that often. There is now just increased potency across the board. Hopefully this is enough to make these weapons usable. I really wouldn't mind if something like Launcher was high DPS and people wanted to play it. I feel like these are forgotten relics in the game where nobody touches the weapon because it doesn't feel good, and you have better options like Assault Rifle for the case of Ranger. So in the case of Launcher, it'd be cool if these increased potency adjustments are actually beneficial and make this class pretty good again, that weapon specifically. On to Gunner. Same thing as the other ones, subclass increases for the 2 subclass skills. So you're going to increase the PP recovery for both attack PP and overwhelm. It's going to increase that for subclass use. Dodge PP gain is also going to be affected by subclass. Who knows? This might be a important subclass for some classes nowadays. Trying to think of which classes use a lot of sidesteps. I know with my time with Partisan, Partisan would have to sidestep counter for PP regeneration. That might make something like Gunner more beneficial now that you're going to be getting more PP recovery as that subclass, but then also dodge PP gain is giving you more PP as well when you do those sidesteps. We'll have to see. Stylish Onslaught. They changed the forward guard point at activation to an omnidirectional guard point, and then they extended the guard points. So this, if I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this was if you were doing your like point blank weapon action, it gave you guard points when you were doing the attack. I don't know if this is going to be beneficial or not. Somebody let me know in the comments if this is going to be helpful for gunners. I'm pretty sure this won't matter much, especially since in combo finisher you're invincible, so I don't know if that's going to matter too much, but maybe. And Rising Drive got some increased potency, and then specifically the weapon Bullet Rave adjusted the potency allocation. This is going to be huge for gunner mains. Bullet Rave, a lot of the damage was in the last the third salvo of the attack, but typically when you were using Bullet Rave, you were using it primarily for just combo building, so you're only going to the second salvo and recasting. So this may make Bullet Rave a lot higher DPS while building chain. So depending on how they allocate that potency, that could be really good. Increasing the relaxing the sidestep canceling and weapon action cancel timing is going to be incredible. We'll have to see how much of a difference that makes, but with Gunners Bullet Rave, there is a lot of animation locks within that skill. Being able to get into sidesteps or weapon actions more freely and more consistently and safer is going to be enormous. This is a big fix for Gunners. Aimless Rain, increase the potency, adjust the allocation, relax the cancel timing. They also relax the cancel timing in the second half of the attack as well. So once again, we'll just have to see how much of an improvement these cancel timings are. Point Blank is getting increased potency. They added an effect to prevent launch and knockback during the approach motion, which is nice. Once again, if you're in your combo finisher, you're invincible. If you're trying to use Point Blank outside of that, I guess this would help. Typically, you're not going to be you doing that, but hey, I'm not going to complain. That should help you a bit. And then relax the hit stops when attacked by an enemy during an attack. Once again, using Point Blank when not in combo finisher, you typically won't use it, but they're just making it, I guess, a bit easier to use it if you want to use it outside of a combo finisher. And then Infinite Ricochet, increasing potency, and then updated it so that the altitude does not increase during midair attacks. This is pretty nice in my opinion. One of the most annoying things about playing Gunner is that when you would do alternate PP or alternate skill usage to reduce the PP consumption of those skills so you can keep building chain, every time you used Ricochet, you would always move up a bit, and then you were in the air, and then you would have to do something to get back to the ground, or in some cases, your combo finishers wouldn't hit because you were too high up in the air. So keeping you, it'll increase your altitude if you're on the ground once, but it won't continue to do that, so you're around the weak spot or the targeted spot that you wish to be. You're not going to keep running away. This is actually going to be pretty convenient and pretty nice. And then of course, relax the cancel timing. So for Force, Rod and Talus got the same thing. They extended the distance from the enemy at which drop is mitigated in steps 1 through 3 of Rod normal attacks or Talus normal attacks. I'm assuming this is just your normal attack and the amount that you drop if you are in the air. So I'm assuming this means which drop is mitigated. We'll have to see what that means exactly, but essentially how much you're going to be dropped between those attacks so you can stay up in the air longer. There's a skill that you can put a point into to reduce that drop already, and we'll have to see how much this further improves on that skill. Techter balance adjustments. The following adjustments, what we got, weak element amplifier, same thing as before. It's just going to be affecting the subclass a bit more. And then they also increase the value of the PV gauge increase for skill level 9 and below when used by a subclass. This is really interesting because as a Techter subclass, you really don't have any other points to put into. So I'm kind of curious what this means for the Techter subclass. Maybe when we get into Ultra Evolution, there might be a third skill that can be used as a subclass that might have, 10 or 15 points you can put into. So this might get to the point that Techter might be a primary subclass choice, and you will have to choose which skills you want to push past level 10. Because as of right now, I mean, their entire skill tree is Talus, Wand, and then the entire shifted D-band tree, which you can't use as subclass. So not really that important. It's remaining unchanged when you're above 10. So the final results, the final stats are the same. This is just making it a bit better increase from 1 through 9. I'd assume this is in regards to a new skill they'll add to the skill tree once Ultra Evolution comes out. And then technique adjustments across the board. All of the elemental techniques are getting increased potency, and then in some skills they're getting an adjusted allocation. So for the fire one, increased potency. Barda Gibarda, increased potency. Yeah, it's the same thing. Zonda Gizon, same thing, increased potency. Let's see. Well, Zon's actually a bit different. Increased potency of attacks that jump to surrounding enemies when attacking while charged. Okay. So that's actually pretty interesting. So they're making Zond maybe not just an uncharged spam, but you might actually want to do charged attacks now, depending on how much that potency increases. I wonder if that increases each chain or each enemy, or does it just increase off of the initial enemy and then increases the potency to every other enemy after that? What I could see this being good for is Photon Flare. That reduces your charging time by 60%. That could be a really good combination now where you're using Zond with Photon Flare. I mean, everybody knows Zond at this point. Wind techniques, increased potency. Light techniques, increased potency. Dark techniques, increased potency. Braver balance adjustments. So bow class skill adjustments. The Bow Illusion Plus is going to get increased potency, and bow adjustments, increased potency across the board. Same as the launcher weapon. Hopefully this makes the bow just feel a bit stronger. The kit I still think is a bit lacking, but if it feels strong and if it is high DPS in the meta, people will definitely pick it up. Hopefully this makes this class feel better for people who do play a lot of bow, and hopefully you're strong like the rest of the classes. I think this is the second update where we have no updates to Katana again. So Katana's eaten. They're still looking good. No problems with that weapon. So no Katana updates, but bow, hopefully this makes you feel a bit better. On to Bouncer. Pinion Blade, increased potency. Jet Sweep Jolt, PP Save, and Rapid Boost, increased effect duration. We'll have to see how long this increases, but that sounds great to me. I don't play a lot of Jet Boot, but when I did, the PP Save was nice. And then Rapid Boost, I think this was the boost you got afterwards of using Jet Sweep Jolt, so we'll have to see how long that effect duration is. Let's see what else. For Jet Boots, increase the potency of the fourth step of Jet Boot normal attacks, expand the attack range for the first hit of the fourth step of Jet Boot normal attacks. And then Jet Boots, increase potency pretty much across the board once again, and Surging Impulses and adjusted potency allocation. But yeah, pretty much increased potency for Jet Boots. Jet Boots is always good. Hopefully more people play Jet Boots, I guess. Waker adjustments. We have, let's see, Retro Friends Rescue, increased activation probability, increased HP recovery rate, and reduce the amount of damage needed for activation. Yeah, this was the skill, I believe, if you were below 50% it activated, so maybe this will be up to like 60 or 70%. Sounds good to me. Welfare Management, damage taken increased when used by subclass, so another subclass improvement, and raise the HP at level at which this activation occurs. Hot Marmello Parry, this is the really cool one. I'm really interested to see the reduced cooldown time on Hot Marmello Parry. If I recall, it's currently 10 seconds in game. If this gets down to like 8 or even 7 seconds, I could really see Waker being used a lot more, at least in my personal gameplay. Waker was pretty cool. I got so bothered by how the class revolved around Hot Marmello Parry to keep up your momentum and to be able to use the skill in between other skills. If this gets down to like 7-8 seconds, I could see this being really, really, really great for the class. And then, of course, short cooldown, the skill is reducing the amount of time that the cooldown is shortened by. So, I think it was 10 seconds and then short cooldown made it 5 seconds. So if this gets down to like 8 seconds and then short cooldown goes to 4, It's huge. A couple seconds difference with Waker would be a big improvement with Hotmar Mellow Parry. And then for the actual weapon itself, Fredrin Breath is getting increased potency, expanding the attack of the non-variant attacks, and then increase the maximum number of lock-ons for variant attacks. Oh man, like this skill is already incredible for PSE bursting, and this is just making it even better. Man, you might see a lot of Wakers as Waker's great for PSE bursting regardless, but you might see more, especially depending on how many lock-ons can happen for that attack. We'll have to see how many lock-ons it is. If it's more than like homing darts or similar to homing darts, which I believe it already is, yeah, Waker's going to be really, really good for PSE bursting in the future. Fredrin Riding, increase the potency, adjust the allocation, and expand the attack range of variant attacks. And then they update it so the explosion occurs even if the variant attack does not hit. Fair enough. All right. That's it for all of the weapon updates. All in all, I think this is pretty solid. Basically, the TLDR here is let's see how the cancel timing is, the weapon action and sidestep cancel timing. We really don't know until we see it in action, but that's going to make a huge difference for a lot of classes. Myself being an avid gunner player, I'm very excited about that cancel timing. Also playing a lot of Ranger, the Blight round improvement is huge. I'm really excited about that. Other than that, everybody can rejoice. This right here, the making skill points not locked behind a paywall is huge. This requires you not to have multiple skill trees anymore. What a great improvement. So this is one of our first real looks into what's happening with Ultra Evolution, but I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Definitely way more content coming as we get closer to the Ultra Evolution update. Leave a comment below as well if you play one of these weapons and classes that I did not discuss in full detail. Let me know, how is this update going to shape how you play that class? I would love to know. With all that being said, guys, I look forward to seeing you all in game, and I'll see you all in the next video real soon.